Hi, I'm Joy.
And I'm Whitney.
And welcome to the SideChef Studio Kitchen, and happy Thanksgiving.
Today we're going to be doing something super special, which is our first ever SideChef Studio collaboration recipe.
Yes. Today we are making our most perfect pumpkin pie.
I'm a really big believer in highlighting natural flavors, so we did our pumpkin puree from scratch today.
So to make your life a little bit easier, we've combated that with a cookie crust that has pecans and a lot of those classic Thanksgiving spices, and it's perfect. Start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Or 175 degrees Celsius. So, for this pumpkin pie, we're gonna be making our pumpkin puree from scratch. I truly believe that to get the best flavor out of this fruit, not a vegetable, you do need to do it from scratch. And it's so easy. We're gonna show you how you can do this. Grab a small sized sugar pumpkin, go in with the top of your knife and then place the heel in.
Okay.
And then slowly you can work your way around like that.
Nice.
The next thing that we're gonna do is just to scoop out all of these seeds. Save the seeds to bake separately because they do make a really good snack.
Oh, they're delicious.
So this is a great job to grab somebody else to help you with.
Yeah, for sure.
So that you can eat your pumpkin seed snacks faster. Why pumpkin? Why was pumpkin the chosen fruit?
I think because pumpkins are native to Massachusetts, which is where the original Thanksgiving was. They didn't have pie because they didn't have really ovens, but they did serve pumpkins roasted as kind of the main vegetable.
Okay, so now that we're all scooped out, what we're gonna do is just to put our pumpkin halves cut side down on the baking tray like this, and we're just gonna put them into the oven to bake off for an hour.
Now that our pumpkin is in the oven, we're gonna prepare our pie crust. So if you've never made pie crust before, this is a really easy, simple way to start. We're not doing a pastry crust, we're doing a cookie crust. So here we have some Biscoff cookies that we're just gonna put in the food processor and process into a fine crumb.
Why did you decide to go with Biscoff for this?
Because they have a really nice gingery flavor, but they're really snappy, so they press into our pie crust really well. Let's do it. Perfect.
Great, so I'm gonna let you finish off this cookie crust and I'm gonna go check on our roasted pumpkin.
Awesome.
All right, have fun.
So to finish off our pie crust, we're gonna add in some pecans. Just to pay homage to the other Thanksgiving pie pecan, we'll add in our melted butter, and this will be our main binder. We're gonna add in some nutmeg just for some more classic Thanksgiving flavors, cinnamon, and last we just add some salt so it brings out more of the rest of the flavors. And now we're just going to process it one more time. What we're looking for with this crust is just that it pulls away from the walls once you start to process it, and that it does stick together when you squeeze it. You don't want to process the nuts too much because you do want to add that texture. So you'll see a bunch of specks of white, and that's perfect. We're going to put it into a greased pie pan. It smells really good. In case the cookie crust isn't for you, you can also do a store-bought pie crust, or you can make a pastry crust, which is basically just flour, sugar, butter. Yum. Our pie crust mixture is now in our greased pie pan, and we're going to use the bottom of a measuring cup to press it in. You don't want your pie crust to be too thick, but you also don't want it to be too thin. So we're going to get that sweet spot of thickness. I like to go around with my hands and just make sure the edges are super tight. I really love using a glass pie pan because you can look around and see if you have any gaps. This is a bit of a messy job, but it's really fun. Now that our pie crust is all ready, we're just going to pop it in the oven along with the pumpkin for 10 minutes. The pie crust is done. We're just gonna let it cool down completely and then we'll pop it in the fridge.
Our sugar pumpkins have been baking for an hour and they look awesome. The skin will totally collapse and then the surface of your pumpkin will get really, really soft and you'll see a little bit of caramelization on the outside. That is the perfect baked pumpkin. All right, we're gonna lift up our pumpkin and then just take a big spoon and scoop it out of the skin. If you're in a pinch, feel free to reach for the canned pumpkin puree, but if you've got a little bit of extra time on your hands, this is totally worth the extra effort. You can always bake off your pumpkins in a larger batch and then freeze the puree and use it all year round. So we've scooped all of our pumpkin out and we're just gonna blitz this in the food processor until it's nice and smooth. And once it starts to break down, that's when we're gonna add in the rest of our spices and emulsify this mixture with the cream. So crack your eggs into a bowl and then add in your brown sugar, nutmeg, clove, cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, and half a teaspoon of salt. Whisk to combine, and then we're gonna add it into our food processor. If you don't have all of these dry spices at home, that's totally okay. Just opt for your regular pumpkin spice mix that you can pick up at the grocery store. Now we're just gonna add our egg mixture into the food processor. Looks really, really good and smells amazing. And don't forget to scrape down your sides so that your eggs, spices, and pumpkin all come together. And then we're just going to drizzle in our cream on the top. Super thick and glossy, perfect for our pumpkin pie. All I'm missing is the pie crust. Okay.
Looks great.
All right, so we're gonna add our filling and our pie crust together and then bake it off in the oven.
Let's do it.
Spot me.
I got you.
Okay. Gloop, gloop, gloop.
Gloop, gloop, gloop. So the pie is almost ready. We're just gonna pop it into the oven. You wanna make sure to keep an eye on the edge because if it starts to get too dark, you can just put some aluminum foil and let the center keep baking.
All right, let's go into the oven.
Let's do it. Whitney, how's the pie?
We are out of the oven and ready to serve.
Yes.
It looks so, so good.
And the crust looks so good too, and it's so fragrant. You can literally smell it from all the way back here.
The best way to serve this is just to let it chill and then cut it up into slices with a little bit of freshly whipped cream. Perfect.
You know, my family tradition is actually to have pie for breakfast the day after Thanksgiving, so we'll have to save some of this.
Okay, all right, let's keep that tradition alive.
Our pumpkin pie is perfect, no matter how you slice it.
That's true.
Woohoo!
Woo!